Welcome, everybody, to Quadrant for Politics. We're back with another fun episode. My name's Matt. I'm here with Riley. If you want to reach us, contact us at quadrant4politics@gmail.com. That's the number 4. Also, check out our podcast on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify. What are the other ones?
Apple and Google Podcasts.
Okay, and again, if you want to go to that email and ask us a question, we would love...
Oh, shit, we didn't check the email.
Shut up.
Oh, my bad.
We can check it next time. We would love to answer any of your questions instead of doing these grab bag ones. However, if we do that, we might research it first because we'll see it first, won't we?
Maybe, or I might just wait until the last second.
Oh, so you get to do all the research?
Yeah.
Anyway, last time we did two political compass questions.
Yep.
So we're going to do that.
We did 3. Remember we got through that one real quick?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We did 3, but one of them took us 1 minute.
Yeah.
So we're going to do I side with questions this time. If you want to know which presidential candidate you line up with closest, go to isidewith.com. It's a very long quiz, but let me tell you why I like it, Riley. Can I tell you?
You like it? Do you endorse it? Does it have Matt's endorsement?
If we go into this thing, it's going to sound like we're being paid to, like, let me tell you why I really like it.
We are endorsing the I Side With. They are sponsoring us.
It sounds like
getting that money.
But they're not paying us, but I will say that I like it because it asks you questions, and each question, it shows you how you relate to the other political candidates based on previous statements they've made. It continually updates it based on their changing opinions or changing statements. It has you rank each question based on how important it is to you. It asks you what characteristics are most important to you. It is a very well put together test, and it's or not test, but a very well put together survey to match you with the candidate you're closest to.
You just like it because it's long and you like all the answers. Because nothing's ever black and white with you. It's always gray. It's always like deep in the gray.
Oh, yes, because it asks you yes and no, or if you want, it has show more answers.
And then it has show even more answers.
It does, and I usually don't pick yes or no. I usually pick yes, but...
Yes, but on the first Tuesday of every month and the second Wednesday, it needs to be backwards because I'm Matt, and everything has to be in the gray.
Well, we don't live in a black and white world, buddy.
Isn't the Bible black and white? Oh, did you see that meme that was like, the Bible defines sex as sex between a man and a woman, so 2 men having sex isn't actually sex, so it's not a sin.
I didn't.
Do you see that meme? What do you think of that?
Well, I would say that the Bible also talks about sexual immorality, and it never says what sex specifically is.
Well, under the presumption that sex is between a man and a woman, like that's the definition of sex.
Then we would say sex is penis and vagina.
Yeah.
But that can't happen between 2 men or 2 women.
So then they can't have sex. Therefore, they're not sinning.
But they can still be sexually immoral.
Going to heaven.
Even it... Are you doing it with a bunch of guys or something?
I'm doing it with a bunch of dudes.
Anyway...
Did you see? There's another meme. I'm sorry. It says, hey, it's a guy saying, hey, dude, to a girl. And she's like, I'm not a dude. And he's like, I call everyone dudes. And she's like, so do you fuck dudes? And he's like, yeah, I do.
I didn't see it.
That's a good one.
Anyway, I think
we're just gonna do meme review.
I think that'd be fun. But I think the spirit of what is being said in the Bible is what gets you throbbing and what gets you excited, and what you're gonna do with your seed or your
throbbing
eggs.
Is the word that makes me uncomfortable.
Well, Jesus is going to come throbbing at your door someday, and he's throbbing on your heart right now.
I'm excited for Jesus' throbbing dick.
You should be excited for Jesus.
Do you think Jesus has a big dick?
I don't. He probably had a human one. I don't know. I just don't know. Gosh dang it. Now, okay. This isn't going to be a good one, Riley.
Oh, good.
Let me tell you why it's not going to be a good one, because I don't know enough about this. So I want you to answer first to fill me in. I want you to give me the background of it, okay? Should the U.S. government, and I don't want you to give an answer. I want you to give me background, okay? Before you give your answer. Oh, sorry, I'm bending down. Okay. Should the U.S. government grant immunity to Edward Snowden?
Should the U.S. government grant immunity to Edward Snowden?
Do not answer. You'll tell me what's going on.
Okay, so Edward Snowden is the one who presented to the public that the government's spying on us, that the NSA essentially has access to the webcam that's in front of us right now, and that they can look at us. That's why when you see a lot of people in the tech industry, they'll have tape over their webcam because they don't want to be watched. It's a scary thing, but it's also... It's annoying that that's what our tax dollars are going to spy on us. And they say they also have access to like our text messages, but I'm not entirely sure about that because, well, text messages they do, but like text messages that are sent over Messenger, Facebook has access to those, and I think the government has to go through Facebook to get access to those.
Well, a lot of people notice things that like you and I might be talking about something like, oh, hey, if
we were recording right now and said, hey, this is our intricate plan to assassinate Donald Trump, you know, that might trigger something where they'd be like, okay, let's listen.
Well, I'm thinking more something along the lines of like, hey, I need to know what brand of curtains is best to put up in my new bedroom. Yeah. All of a sudden, even though my phone's halfway across the room, Amazon's going to have a suggestion for me of curtains.
Yes.
I saw this whole thing,
but that's
this whole thread of people who were saying like...
That's not the government doing that. That's the private companies of like... the voice thing I don't believe that's been confirmed, but it is uncanny how often that happens, where I'll be talking with my girlfriend about something, you know, like unrelated to anything I've ever searched on the internet, and then I'll go onto Facebook and see advertisements for that thing I was talking about. I'll be like, whoa, this is uncanny, but I'm not sure if it's been confirmed. Like, we know that the Google Home that's in this room right now is probably listening to us, and you know,
my watch is probably
someone could be recording that at Google. Yeah, your smartwatch and stuff like that. It essentially is just saying that we've invited all of this technology into our home at the risk of our own personal privacy. But at the end of the day, I'm okay with Google and Facebook being able to, and Apple, you know, we're recording on a MacBook right now. Like, if Apple can look through this webcam right now, I was the one who made the decision to bring this webcam in my home, so I'm not going to fault Apple for
However,
that.
You do have a right to privacy.
I have an issue with the government, with my tax dollars going to the government spying on me. If Apple was spying on me and I knew about it, it's my decision to buy their products or not. Whereas a competitor could come out and say, hey, here's a competitor to the MacBook. It costs a little bit more because we're a smaller company than Apple, but we guarantee you we're not spying on you through that webcam. Then yeah, I might go support that company instead. But in this day and age, I'm just an open person. I don't have anything to hide. And I think there's a lot of people out there who don't really have a whole lot to hide because we live in such a society where there's not really much to hide anymore.
Well, let me ask you for not for the whole question, but just for a moment. Take the tax part out of it,
okay,
and let's for right now focus on privacy.
Okay.
Now, we're recording on Apple or whatever, and those little windows pop up, you know, where you have to agree every 2 weeks to an iOS update or what the hell ever it is. Have we consented to give away or to allow them to record us or to give up our right to privacy? Because our right to privacy is not just from the government. It is, we have a certain right to...
There's a lot of times that's exactly what's in those. And especially, you see it a lot on your phone because a lot of times, like, Messenger, when you install Messenger and then you make a call on Messenger, it will ask, are you giving Messenger the... permission to access your webcam and microphone on your phone, and if you click yes to make that call, like we've called on Messenger before, then you've given Messenger access to those parts of your phone, and now they can access those whenever they want. And that's a lot of times when you download apps and open them, there will be a lot of, do we have access to your camera? Do we have access to your microphone? Do we have access to your photos? Are you allowing us to make small changes on your phone? Like, we agree to that stuff all the fucking time.
And if we agree to it, that's totally on us.
Yeah.
What would be nice is if some company would come out and be like, do you agree for us to use your camera to make this call because it's part of our program and we're doing it only for...
That would be better. And that might be in the terms of use with all of these. But the problem with all that stuff is it's all government enforced. Like, the government is telling these companies, you have to tell the users in this very specific way what you're doing, and you also have to do all this stuff that is like liability related. Whereas if the government stepped away from all that stuff, companies would be able to give us more simplified questions, just like permissions, like, can we do this? This is what we're going to be using it for, and stuff like this. But instead, because of all these regulations and shit like that, they have to give you 19 pages to agree to, and it's like most people aren't going to do that.
I still think there's a way they could go about it without blaming it on the regulations. I don't think the regulations are forcing the company to act unethically. You know?
No, they're not acting unethically. It's
a loophole for them.
It's all this paperwork, you know, and the paperwork comes from the government putting down regulations and other nonsense like that, and also pertaining to lawsuits that have happened in the past and other things like that make it so complicated. Whereas if things were easier coming from the government, then things would be easier on our end on those, like the terms of service wouldn't be 19 pages that you just skip and you press agree. It'd be a more readable and consumable segment where it's like, I'm actually going to read through this. Yeah.
So, okay, can you tell me, I know the name Edward Snowden. I know...
He's the one who revealed to us during the Obama administration that they were spying on us and had access to all the webcams. So this was about 2014-ish, right? It may have been 2008.
So where is he now? What's he doing? What's his
believe he has sanctuary in Russia, and I think that's where he's at. I don't think he's moved since then.
So do you think... Okay, so here's the thing: is there's
he got in trouble for revealing government secrets because we did not know before then. We could assume, but we did not have confirmation until he was the one who revealed this is what's going on. And I think it was also tied to that transgender military person, because I think that I can't remember her name, but she also, I think, had some stuff that was sort of connected to the Snowden stuff. But he didn't get in trouble for revealing the information. I mean, that's what he got in trouble for, but he got in trouble for revealing government secrets. You know, it's like if Trump accidentally leaked military plans or something, you know, someone would get in trouble for that. That's essentially what he did.
There's a question later on in this test, or earlier on, I don't know, I don't have it in order in front of me, but the question is ultimately, should whistleblowers have protection? And my answer was whistleblowers should be able to blow the whistle without fear of retribution unless it is a matter of national security. So coming from my standpoint, did he hurt national security at all?
I don't believe so. I mean, he just revealed that the government's watching us. Is that
so pretty much it's a government grudge against him?
I mean, if you are if you're a terrorist in this country and you had no idea the government was spying on you until Edward Snowden told you, like, let everyone know, then that terrorist can be like, okay, I'm getting rid of all my cameras and microphones in here.
So he could have...
That might be a message of national security, but I mean, that's why they're doing it, is they're trying to look out for terrorists in our country.
I mean, yeah, because it's not like we've heard of a bunch of, like, people who got arrested because it's like, oh, you know, we were listening to you on the speaker, you're 22 having sex with a 16-year-old. Like, that doesn't happen very often, you know?
Yeah.
But what does happen is more maybe what you're talking about, terrorist activity. So the government's intentions might be good. I guess I'm wondering what were his intentions. Were his intentions to...
He felt that was morally wrong. He felt that, like, that the government could just watch anyone through their camera right here. I mean, they could be watching us talking about this right now and we wouldn't know.
So if you had to... So, okay, so I guess now...
Maybe we should watch that Edward Snowden movie together.
Maybe, but I'm real busy right now. So, okay, now if I guess you could... you've given me the background and everything's awesome on that. If you could let me know, what do you think?
Should the U.S. government grant immunity to Edward Snowden? Yes, absolutely.
So you think Trump should sign pardon paperwork right now?
I think one of the biggest crimes in our country is whether or not you think government's good or bad. I think it's horrible that we don't know everything about it, and the fact that he told us something.
I'm going to have to strongly disagree because there's some things that are kept secret because if everybody got a hold of the knowledge, it wouldn't be any good. For example, if the government was about to take down a terrorist cell based on information only they had, but we said, hey, everybody gets to know about this.
Well, that's different. That's a military strategic combat kind of thing. But stuff that affects us and our lives and where our tax dollars are going, I think that's really important.
But yeah, that's different, and I agree with you on that. I'm just saying I think certain things...
Military strategies make sense. I mean, that's within the realm of reason of I don't necessarily need to know that. You know, I don't think I should know that because then the enemies will find out and they'll be able to abandon it. So I see where you're coming from, but something like this, you know, it's ridiculous that they had a secret thing that we didn't even know about. You know.
So what was the fallout? What happened? Because Obama left office a popular president, and I understand this was kind of like his one scandal.
Obama got out without being connected to this too much. I think I'm not as informed on this as you might think I am, but from my understanding, he's generally not associated with it, even though he directly was. He either set up or expanded the agency, the NSA, that was doing this, so it is directly linked to him, but he was able to separate himself out from that. Or
like saying he didn't
when
know
this came out, a lot of people just accepted, like, yeah, I don't really have anything to hide, you know, because most...
and it's like that's not even the issue. Even if you don't have anything to hide, you still have your inherent right to privacy.
Some Democrats who even support what he was doing, you know, because they value security and safety over privacy and freedom.
It seems like even some Republicans would, because
Republicans it's not like Trump shut it down. So
and it's not like I don't know if Trump's talked about a pardon for him, because Trump talks about a pardon for a lot of high-profile people. Yeah. He just gave one to Governor.
I think Trump has debated giving Edward Snowden immunity, but I don't. You know, it's obviously not.
He's got 500 other celebrities to work through first.
Kim Kardashian hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah, like maybe he's on her list. Yeah. Why doesn't he just appoint her to?
Why doesn't Trump bury his face in Kim Kardashian's ass?
That's a good question.
He is the most powerful man in the land, and she's like, I want some prisoners out, and he's like, you put your ass in my face, and they'll be out. I promise.
Because because my understanding is that she was able to get the people out without putting the ass in the face, and I mean, imagine for a second. You're attracted to men. Is that the man you want to stick your face?
Well, he's the man with the power, and we know that women are not afraid to bang men with money or power. I mean, look at Melania. She could be with someone a lot more attractive than Trump.
Yeah, she's like a 9, and he's like, what, a 2.5?
Melania is less attractive to me because she's so plastic and fakey. I like natural women myself.
Well, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she's definitely more attractive than
she's
Trump.
A supermodel, and not just like, oh, that person looks like she's literally definition a supermodel. So I guess, like I said, I'm very uninformed on this. It sounds to me that, I guess my answer, I think, also on this test I was talking earlier, you can leave questions blank.
Oh, that's good.
And so you don't have to answer everything. Therefore, it's not taken into your score. I think that if what you've presented is accurate, and if he didn't cause any national security concerns, then absolutely he should be granted immunity. I don't know the whole story. Also, there's the fact that this was, 7 years ago now?
It's been a while, yeah.
So is it maybe something where it's time to put in the past? Like, for example... I just mentioned Trump pardoned former Governor Rod Blagojevich of Illinois. Did you hear about that?
No.
He was the one who was he on a phone call. He said after Obama became president, he said he was going to sell Obama's Senate seat, and he's like, I could finally get out of Illinois.
Oh.
And he got a 14-year sentence or it was a 12-year sentence, and he appealed it, and the appeals court said some of your points are valid. So they sent it back to the original judge and said resentence him, and the original judge resentenced him to the exact same amount of time.
Oh.
And so he was like 7 years into his 14-year term.
Yeah.
Or 14-year penalty, and Trump pardoned him. And I don't think what he did was right, but Trump said it's a phone call. Worse things have been said. He didn't do it. And at some point, like, it's time to move on. And I think that could also be the case for... So I supported, Trump.
The reason why Edward Snowden is most likely not going to get immunity is because he did something against the government specifically. And the government, they're not working for us. The government's only working for themselves. Politicians only care about themselves.
Otherwise, we'd have a stimulus bill signed.
Well, I mean, government would be a lot smaller if they cared about the people. But no, they only care about themselves. So, no, they're probably not going to grant immunity.
That's why the other day I wrote out a plan to fix the government. But that's okay. We can talk about that later.
All right.
I have a plan to fix the government.
Do you want to give me a small snapshot of it?
Yes, it's by increasing the amount of U.S. representatives by cutting all of their salaries in half. So they're not as motivated by money, but representatives aren't representing 700,000 people at a time. Doing it my way, they'd be representing like 300,000 people.
You also need to get money out of government, though. The reason why their salary is so high is because it's the government trying to encourage them not to accept money from lobbyists or lobbyers.
Well, didn't Trump say something about like no lobbyist after you've been in government? I guess that's that only government. If you're in government, you can't become a lobbyist.
The fact of the matter is that lobbyists for big corporations or industries are impacting the nation. That is the only reason why we had the vape ban. The vape ban isn't the government saying, oh, we need to protect people because, 3 people died. We have the coronavirus right now. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's crazy. It's killed a lot more people than vaping has, and we're on lockdown. But vaping comes along, kills 3 people who bought black market vaping juices, and all of a sudden the government's like, whoa, bro, we got to stop vaping. But the reason why vaping had a ban was because the cigarette industry was like, oh shit, vaping is taking over. We need to do something about this.
I will admit I'm not super educated on how lobbying works. I just know that
it's just, shady business dealings with politicians.
So what, do they pay the politicians, or are they on their advisor board, or
that's why Bernie supporters are always like, oh, Pete Buttigieg has like 10 billionaires supporting him and Biden has 20 billionaires supporting him, because they think that money is going to impact their decisions. Well, but the billionaires aren't going to donate $1 million and say, hey, you don't need to help my industry. No, they're not going to do that out of the kindness of their heart. They want someone who will help support them.
So what does the lobbyist money go to then? I don't like being...
It goes to their
campaigns?
Yeah.
Because I know it can't go to their bank account.
Well, sometimes it does, or there's other ways about it.
That's not okay.
I know,
not Christ-like.
That's why Democrats want to get money out of politics. Which is something I pretty agree with.
Something about Jesus. But anyway, so you agree with getting money out of politics? Even though it's tantamount to violation of free speech? I'm
also not super educated on the topic, but yeah, just because of the way government, because of how powerful things can be and how much that's not capitalism, that's crony capitalism, also known as crapitalism. That's wrong, and I don't think we can be successful if it is that way. So, yeah, I think money out of politics is a pretty good idea, but it's something I need to put more thought into.
Yeah,
Next question?
Let's move on to question numero... What is this? Numero dos?
Dos.
You had to spend so much time educating me on this. Hopefully this one doesn't require further education.
I had a coworker named Juan, Mexican guy, and he left. And we got another coworker named Juan, and we called him Juan too, but we should have called him Dos. Because Juan sounds like one, but he's Mexican, so Dos is 2.
I get it.
Okay, cool.
So
cool. All right, good.
Holy crap. Okay. I don't know why you put this one in here, but it's in here, so we're going to answer it.
Oh, nice.
What qualities are most important to you in a candidate? Transparency, effectiveness, ability to inspire, commitment, vision, leadership, morality, honesty, integrity, intelligence, consistency, determination, common sense, communication, other stances. I don't think you meant to put that one in there.
I actually think I did remember
because
this
because this is what I was saying about the test. Is it asks you this, and then each candidate is people on the I Side With forum can go on and rate each candidate, 1 to 5 stars. So
all right, so the question or statement is, which qualities are most important to you in a candidate? And the options that we have here are transparency, effectiveness, ability to inspire, commitment, vision, leadership, morality, honesty, integrity, intelligence, consistency, determination, common sense, and communication. Okay. And there's one that says other stances, but we'll just go with those ones.
Can we just, for the simplicity of this, just go through and say, like, which ones are and aren't important to us? So maybe we can get another question in that's a real question.
Transparency, is that one important to you?
Yes.
That one's very important to me. Effectiveness.
Well, yes, but I mean that's all.
Effectiveness is a weird one. I'm going to try to just go with the bare minimum here. So I'm going to say, effectiveness is pretty important.
It's subjective though.
It is subjective. I'm going to say no to effectiveness because as long as he's trying his best, that's what matters.
Why do you say he? What if we have someday have a female president?
What? We have not yet. So that's why I said he.
Okay, that works. And we're never going to. So. Effectiveness, I'll just say low, medium, high. So transparency, high. Do I think we're getting it? No. Effectiveness, I'd say medium.
Ability to inspire? No, that's not
That's low. Let me tell you about the problem with ability to inspire is...
I thought you wanted to do another question.
I do, but shut up for a second. Obama and Trump have something huge in common that people are like, oh, they don't have anything in common. They have something very huge, is that they...
Huge.
Huge. They both ran their campaigns on pomp and circumstance, on hope, change, making America great again.
Yeah.
And they inspired, but they did it in the wrong way. So for me, that's a low.
Commitment.
Medium.
That would be a medium for me too. Vision. That would be a low. They don't need to have a whole lot of vision. Vision is like big ideas.
Yeah, because if they can just
Bernie
get the job.
has vision.
Yeah, and that's not good vision. I'll say medium on vision.
Leadership.
That's a high.
I don't know. I think that you can get stuff done by working together. Well, I guess if you're
a good leader, you work
candidate.
Together.
Are we talking about a candidate for president? Is that just what we're talking about?
Let's say sure.
It's for president. Okay. Well, president needs to be a leader. So yeah, leadership. Morality. I would say no to morality because it makes him sound like a liberal.
Before I would have said high.
Christian morality.
I mean, if it's my pastor, sure, but morality, I mean, with, for example, Trump and Clinton and Kennedy, we can see that they're not the most moral people, but they can still get stuff done. So, but it's still important that they have some level of morality. So I'm going to say medium.
Honesty is a big one for me. I think, transparency and honesty are the biggest things. I since this person's being elected, I want them to know everything about them.
I'm going to... again, honesty is subjective because, for example, we have a current president who uses a lot of hyperbole.
Yeah.
And then the fact checkers come out and are like, Trump's numbers were way off, and it's like, well, yeah, because he was speaking out his ass.
Yeah.
But so I'm going to say, but in general, I'm going to say that's a high one.
All right. Integrity?
Medium.
What is even integrity?
Like good character.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but it's also kind of a weird thing. You just hope that, yes, that's something they have. Intelligence, that's another thing I just hope they would have.
It's subjective, though, because... Are we talking IQ? Are we talking, in what way? So medium?
Consistency is an interesting one. One of the things I remember hearing from Adam Ruins Everything is that one thing we like about politicians is that they're willing to switch their stances. Like, a lot of people make fun of politicians for being like, he voted this way this time and then he voted this way the other time and it was different. But the thing is that, like, we want politicians to be able to switch policies on us because that usually means they're going with public demand. That's what they want, what the people want. Obama, previously to being a president, even early in his presidency, was against gay marriage. But then he saw that the public was like 100% of the public, practically 75%.
It was actually, at the time he changed his mind, it was like 50.2. But
anyways,
go ahead.
The majority of the public was like, we want gay marriage to be a thing, and that's when he was like, okay, yeah, I do too, so
yeah, to me that's
so consistency is something I don't
to me that's want. Okay, and that's also disingenuous to me. Now and then you also have, if you think
if it was a libertarian candidate, I wanted
now
like,
back in 2004, a lot of what cost John Kerry was the fact that he was a flip-flopper.
Yeah,
he couldn't make up his mind.
But that's because
issues.
People don't understand that, like, people who want government to run well and want big government, Republican and Democrat both, they want a flip-flopper, even though that's not what they think they want. They think, oh, this is bad, he's flip-flopping, but that's what they want because they want someone who will agree with them when they change their minds.
I think the consistency ties into honesty also, too, if you're going to be inconsistent, be honest about it. Like, Obama, just say you supported it from the beginning, but your black constituents didn't, and even at the time, perhaps the majority of Democrats didn't.
Honesty is real important.
That's why it's high.
I can make mistakes. You never hear politicians say, I can make mistakes, So that'd be nice to hear.
I mean, not the current president, but I don't think he's once said he's made a mistake.
Yeah, I don't. That's not something you hear from other candidates either.
You do.
I mean, sometimes, maybe. I don't know.
You do. You just don't from Trump. But I'll say low for consistency.
Determination is low.
I'm going to say high.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, you want to have somebody with drive. You want to have somebody with a get-her-done attitude.
Common sense, I would say high. Just because,
subjective.
Communication. I think communication is real important. That's
medium. Communication high.
I think that's good. That's one of the good things about Trump is that he's so public with us on Twitter. It's like, a lot of things he tweets are ridiculous, but I do appreciate that he's interacting with us directly.
I just wish. I mean, I love the hyperbole for the humor factor, but I just wish it also makes us not know what he really thinks.
Yeah.
It makes us not really know where he stands. And I read an article one time that said his unpredictableness is a strength, and I can't remember. It made a good case. I can't remember all the points.
I've heard that before, too. I don't remember what the case was.
But it's not something I would say in general is very good. Anyway, let's move on to a real question.
One more?
One more. And what do we got here? If it's another one of these stupid questions, we're putting it back. Okay. Should the government stop construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline?
Ooh, this might be an outdated question because I'm not sure if that's still going on. But
under the other stances, one of the stances you can say is this should be removed because it's no longer relevant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Should the government stop construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline? Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, so they were making a pipeline going through North and South Dakota and maybe another state. You had environmentalists against it because they're hippies and they don't love oil.
It was for oil?
Yeah, and I believe, I mean, that's usually what...
Was this the one that was going through the Indian land?
Yes, and I do not think it should go through Indian land because we've reached a deal with them. We have a treaty with them that they get their land, they get to do their shit with it. They follow federal policy, not state policy. And I think... we've talked about reparations before. I don't know if we've talked about it on here, but because this reparation is already in place, we already have a treaty, we need to stay to our word. I think there is a way to do it without going through Native American land. Or if we want to go through Native American land, pay the price, whatever they say. We also need to make sure it doesn't affect drinking water, which I think was another concern. So my answer would be no, don't stop it. Just make sure it works, because I want the oil flowing all across all 50 states. I want all the oil. I want it drilled up yesterday. I want it sold at a cheap price. I want us to end our dependence on foreign oil. I want us to stop selling to other countries while we buy from other countries. And I want access to the oil, but we have to do it the right way. I just sounded like a politician for a second, but
I don't know enough about the pipeline to give a strong answer on this. If it's a private industry thing, like if it's a company building it and they have the right to build it, then no, I don't think the government should stop. Like if the company owns the land that they're building on and stuff, I don't think that there's any issue with that.
Well, but if it's Indian land, then...
Well, if the private company bought the land, then,
Also, so much of that Midwestern... Well, I don't think they could without the Native American consent.
Yeah.
But so much of the land in the Midwest is actually federal land. It doesn't belong to any person.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that plays a factor into it. I'm just throwing it out there. But, yeah, I gave you my answer. Yes, I'll let you finish.
I'm not really sure. I don't know enough about it to really put a stance on it. But if it's not something the government is doing, then no, I don't think the government should be involved in it. Because it says, should the government stop construction of it?
I'm pretty sure when we're talking about...
If it's not, is the government building the pipeline?
I'm pretty sure it was a... Gosh, now you got me questioning myself. I'm pretty sure it was a government thing. I mean, we're talking about building a pipeline for oil. We're talking about... I would have to imagine the government was in some way involved, even if the government contracted with a company to lay the pipe. Yeah. We're still talking about a government overseeing project.
My answer to this question is, I'm a libertarian. Get the government out of everything.
I'm a libertarian. You went this whole thing with saying libertarian only once, and then you had to throw that in there.
You're welcome. All right. That is our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it, especially for those who stuck around to the end. We have a small amount of followers, but we are thankful for each and every one. That's Kevin. Kevin's out there. Hey, Kevin. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, Kevin.
Kevin's a nice guy.
He is. Isn't he swell? You know what Kevin told me?
Oh, what did Kevin tell you?
Which I don't know how it's true. He said he usually agrees with me.
Oh, wow.
Which is weird because he's a silly, I was going to say dirty liberal, but he might get offended. But Kevin's a dirty liberal. But
maybe.
No.
Anyways, thanks for listening, Kevin. You're our only viewer.
He's not our only viewer, but he's
making this podcast.
He's a religious viewer.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.